Hello everyone, welcome to the TechBiz Soft. So yeah, we have started that Python new series. So we have seen that installation of Python, how Python install, how the PyCharm install, right? So two things we have to take care first, that that software should be installed properly and PyCharm should install properly, right? After that we have to understand that some rules of the programming. Okay, so Python is one programming language, right? So right now, like you can understand like this way. Like for example, do not think about Python, think about, suppose you are guys who are understanding the English or any other language, like your local language as well, right? So what is the English is a one kind of language which is used for communication purpose only, right? It is used for communication purpose, right? How does do communication? So it is used for two different person if they want to communicate, right? So suppose a two person want to talk to each other, right? That time some communication is required. I'm saying something, right? You are understanding something, you are replying something, I'm understanding something, so we are talking to each other, like in English, right? Any language, right? What is the main purpose of the language is only for communication. Same like, right, Python also one kind of language where we do use some kind of communication with machine. So in Python programming language or any programming language which is there in this world right now, it could be Java, C, C++, or it could be C Sharp, or it could be any language right there, right? All language are used for communication purpose only. Communication purpose, that means human does talk with the machine. So like English is used for communication with humans, right? With humans. And every language having its own grammar. If you will follow the grammar, then only it will perform the right of I can understand, right, whatever I want to say. That if I will not follow the grammar, if I will say something else without follow the grammar, right, that time that sentence will not be clear and no one can understand that properly, right? No one can understand properly. That's the one biggest, I can say, like one biggest things is there with the every program, every language, right? So English is what? It's one kind of language only. So English is one kind of human language. Same like we have Python. It is a one kind of language which human talk to the machine. Human talk with machine. That means I will talk with machine, right? We know that day-to-day activity we are doing all kind of activity, right? All kind of activity means you can take the example of bank, right? We have banking website where we are checking that amount. I can withdraw the amount with the debit card, credit card, right? So whenever I'm doing something, when I'm transferring the money, or when I'm, let's say example of e-commerce application, right? I'm buying something, I'm saying something. That means normally what happened, right? In the last 15 or 10 years, if I can say, like I will go to the shop where I will talk to that shopkeeper, right? Shopkeeper will show me some kind of items, right? But right now what happened, right? We are directly talking with the softwares only. So I was getting all kind of products. I'm seeing the products. I'm buying the product, right? I'm paying the money. That all we are doing with the machines only, right? So Python is also one kind of language who does use to build that kind of softwares, right? That will help you to convey your message, and that will help you without any humans, actually, without any humans. So Python is one kind of programming language that is also talk to with machine only, right? So whenever we are writing the programs in Python, we have to understand some rules. Actually, we have to understand some rules. Rules is nothing like a grammar only. Right? If you'll follow the grammars, that is called syntax. So I will use this word many times: syntax. So syntax is nothing like a rules only. If you have a right rule, that means syntax will fine, right? If you have a wrong rule, then what happen, right? If you write some wrong rule, then what happen, right? It will give me error. Error always come in the red line. So it will underline with the red actually, okay? So red line, it will give in that down of the particular that, right? So underline with the red, actually, underline with red color. So if you are saying something with the red color, right, that means what? If you're underlying something, why it is giving that underline something, right, with the red color, which is called wrong rule, which is not acceptable at all, right, which is not acceptable. That means Python cannot process that, so we have to correct that. So we have to follow the right rule, that syntax only. So the rule will be rule I will define on the topic wise topics. What is the rule, what is the syntax, how we can correct that, when it will be wrong, when it will right, that all we have to understand that, right. Then here I am asking, write a Python code, right. So I have to write the Python code. Then what happened, right, I have to create a one file. So first I have to create a one file, right. I have to create a one file. The file name will be any. I can give the file name like, I can give a file name like my file. I can give a file name, and here I can give the extension of it like .py. So always remember that whenever you will create any file, that file extension should be .py. You can understand that normal file will have a like .txt extension, right, that is having a like suppose .doc extension, .ppt extension. We have a different type of file extension. Same like for Python program, we're having a .py extension. So here I will write file name with the .py extension. So that is the first things that we have to keep. So first I have to create a one file. That file will always having a .py extension, right. Whenever you want to write a code, we have to create a one file with the .py extension. After that, what happen? Then we will write some executable code. We will write some executable code. Executable code, right. So what is the executable code? The code which will execute and that will give me some result, right. So here in the executable code, after execution, what do? We do get the result, right. After execution, we'll get result. Execution is what? Execution you can understand like that way. Maybe you are new on the programming field, right. Execute means something. Let's say I'm saying that how are you. Let's say I'm saying how are you. So I'm a person and I'm saying to the other person how are you. Then the other person will reply me. What they will reply? I'm fine, right. That's the other person is replying me, I'm fine. Now same I'm asking with the machine, can you tell me how are you. So if machine will say me like I'm good or I'm fine, that means it executed my this particular sentence, is executed my sentence, then only is reply. So execute means some kind of process, right. Execute means, let me write this also. Execute means what? It is a one kind of process where it does interpret, where it does understand. It does understand human instruction and process, human instruction and process, right. So that way you can understand that what is the execute actually. So execute something which I will give any instruction to the machine. If I will write any code, right, it will interpret, it will understand the code, and the code will in the form of instruction, and it will process, and according to it will give me some result. So that is called kind of execute, right. So here we have like some executable code. So whichever code we do write, if we execute it, right, executable code, that will be, suppose here I am writing printf hello world. Let's start with some hello world example. So I am going to here. So if you want to write any file, main.py will come by default, right. So what you have to do, you have to right click on this project, new, and then you have to click on file. So what could be the file? Suppose I want to give like my file, right. You have to give the file name only. Extension will by default take care because it's a Python ID, right. So we don't have to give any extension of it. So you have to just write my file only. If you write my file, you can see that my file.py has started. Now here if I will write here print, right, and if I am writing here suppose hello world, print, T is missing on it, right. See here. So if I will suppose print is something which is predefined, if I will not give correctly, right, it will give me red. So if you are giving something is coming with some underlined red, right, that means it is an error which we have to correct it. If it is having an error, right, the code will not execute. If code will not execute, that means you will not get your output. So here we do have two things, input and output. You will give some input. Let's say I'm saying how are you. So how are you is an input. After how are you, it will execute, it will predict that particular things, and it is replying I am fine. That means it is the output of me. So input and output, you can compare the same thing. See, if you want to learn the programming, right, you have to understand that with the real world actually. the way we are talking with each other, right? Same thing we are talking with the machines actually. That is the main purpose of the programming language, right? So Python is also one of them. So if you write something wrong on it, that means I'm not following the syntax of it. That's why it is giving me error. If I will write a print, right, that means there is no error and it will work fine, and it is work fine, right? So whenever after writing the code, right, what next step is that I will run this code. So I mean, it will not execute automatically. What happened, right? I will execute it. So first what happened, it is checking. Let me write this here. First, after writing the code, what happened? After writing the code, what happened, right? It does check the syntax. It does check syntax. Syntax does check by the say like compiler or something like that, right? So it does check the syntax. The syntax is fine. It will say okay, fine, no problem, right? Then there is no problem. After all syntax right, it does execute the code. It does execute the code. So how do we execute the code? So for execute the code, you have to just here select the file. So right now it is selected the main only, right? But now I want to run this my file only, right? So how can I change this? So you have to click on the drop down and you have to go to this edit configuration. Okay, please listen, look carefully. Edit configuration, and here you have to select this here. So here script is there, right? So here it is saying main.py. So in main.py, what I will do, I will write my file name which I want to run, like my file only, my file. So my file.py, apply, and then close. So you can see here now I'm getting my file. Then I will click on this play button, right? Then the program is started execution and I will get the result in my console here itself. So what it is saying that no such file or directory. I think I have given the wrong name. Okay, I have given the wrong name, so that's why it is not understanding. F-I-L-E, right? So I think L is missing. F-I-L-E, my file.py. See, if you'll give a wrong name, right, it will say there is no file of it, right? How it can run? So it cannot be run. So I can give here, right? Then you can see here it is your output, right? So that you have to understand that whenever you are writing the code, right, you have to understand two things. First you have to execute it, right? And sorry, first you have to write the code and it will check that syntax of it, and then you can execute it. So execution means it will run the code, right? It will start the running the, it will interpret your sentence, and then only it will give the result to us. So how does it work internally? That process we have to understand that, right? So first we are writing a code like with the .py extension, and we are writing some hello world, right? Then compilation to bytecode, it's automatically is happening, right? Compilation to bytecode, compilation is checking the syntax only, and it is converting to the bytecode. Automatically it is happening. When you run the script, Python compile it to a bytecode, right? So whenever we do run it, right, then Python compile it to the bytecode. So here I will write bytecode is platform independent here. Platform independent means here platform means operating system, right? Independent means it is not dependent on the operating system. So we know that we have a different operating system, like we have a Mac OS, we have a like Windows, we have a Linux, Unix, right? So suppose if I write some code in the Windows operating system, right? And if I will run this in like suppose Linux platform, so it will not give me any problem. It can be run directly. So that is called platform independent, right? So this bytecode is platform independent, is store.pyc file inside PyCache directly. So it is internally it is doing, okay? You don't have to think on that too much, but you should know that how does it internally working on it, right? So whenever we do write a code, it does convert compilation to bytecode. That is automatic happen, right? And it is storing this .pyc in this particular location. And after that, when do we execute the code, right? So this executing by the code by the virtual machine, Python virtual machine. So Python virtual machine, again, it is one kind of software that by default come with the by default come with this Python setup to us, right? So it will run internally our code. So that is called Python virtual machine. So if someone will ask you who run this Python code, you have to simply say that Python virtual machine does run the code. So the Python interpreter, it is having interpreter who does takes the bytecode and execute it line by line. So every line by line, it will start the execution of the code, right? So that thing you have to understand, that compilation to bytecode execution, how does it work? How it is starting, right, from the beginning, right? So that is about the basics things about compilation, execution, okay, and what is the syntax, what is the rule, that all things I've explained in, right? Thanks for watching. If you have any doubt, please let me know, okay, and thank you guys. Take care. Bye bye.